Holy shit, dude.
What the fuck does that mean?
I am ready now.
Coming to you from the Radio for One studios in Franklin, Michigan. Welcome to the Detroit Cast,
Big fan. Big fan.
a show not just free of charge, but free of FCC regulations.
And what can we expect?
Surprises!
Engineered by Jay Timko and produced by Eric Beatty. And without further delay, it's showtime! Please welcome the Detroit Cast. Here are your hosts, Mike and Jay.
Yeah, hi. Yes.
Hello. Welcome to a Friday edition of the Detroit Cast. I'm Mike, that's Jay. Got a full house today. Big E is here, of course. Timko's here. K-Dog is in the house. I guess that's it. Not much of a full house, but...
So the normal people plus one.
Yeah. But yeah, dare I say, a big show. We got a lot to get to. I got to turn this hat around. As we get ready for, well, what usually would be a big weekend in sports, right? Usually. It's going to be a massacre, I'm sure, but...
what is it, 17 points?
Yeah.
Talking about the U of M, MSU, obviously.
No, I was talking about Cal and Stanford. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, Michigan State. Usually a lot more hype going into a game like this. So, unfortunately, yeah, it's probably going to be a blowout. It's at Michigan State, so...
All signs point to a Sparty win, but Mike, you never know in these games.
Hey, that's why
rivalry win.
That's why they play the games, right?
That's why we play the games at Michigan. Michigan's
going to get fucking smoked.
Maybe, just maybe.
Maybe. Are you excited for that? Do you want a smoking going on in that game?
Of course.
Yeah.
I want to smoke everybody in every game.
Bristol Palin has come out and made comment about what happened with
Thought
her.
she made comment yesterday.
No, well, she did in the video, right?
But
But
she has to explain herself.
she's come out and explained herself, and of course she's a victim, whereas the liberals don't get the beat down that she and her family get, and she's got a point to an extent. Here she's talking about being pushed down by a guy and all that kind of stuff, and she was like, can you imagine if that was Hillary, Chelsea Clinton,
Right.
it'd be, and she does have a point there.
For sure.
So we'll get into that a little bit. The fuck hate people are back with a new video.
An inspiring new video.
Inspiring new video. I'm surprised. I thought I'd see your daughter in there. I would think you'd get her signed up for something like that. No?
They're little girls in that, aren't they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're just little girls. But they've got a good message. It's important that, women know that they're equals.
Under the banner of fuck hate.
Right. Under the banner of fuck hate. Of course, shirts are $15 and $5 goes to organizations that support women or some shit. Whatever the guys' bullshit is. Also, UNC, big story there. But why don't we start with the terrorist attacks? The Canadian guy who was
Lone Wolf.
Lone Wolf, yeah. So it turns out it was just one dude, not three.
Yeah.
Interesting how that happens. They thought there were three people involved, and now it's just one. His mother has come out, and in kind of a refreshing way, really.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get to that, though, should we mention why we played that intro that we did?
Oh yeah, I just got back from my son's sixth grade band concert. So
Nice.
they weren't anywhere near as good as that intro actually.
Right.
But they're 8 weeks in.
Really? Or
They're 8 weeks
They're
in.
8 weeks in.
Yeah.
They'll get better.
Yeah. What did they play? Did they play something as advanced as that?
Dude, they have a great teacher, and I think he does the right thing by not having them bite off too much at first. They literally just play a series of notes to start with
Mhm.
at this concert. They just show you how. No, they show you how they can all play together and follow his direction, and then they move up to just some simple songs.
all right, Jay, I think you're right. You're probably right. That's a better way of teaching it. But when you're sitting there, are you
I know.
kind of like?
Well, they're 8 weeks in. What do you want them to do?
No, I know, but I'm just saying. You're sitting there. Are you kind of still though a little like, oh my god?
No, I'm amazed that this kid can actually put a
Really?
trumpet to his lips and play this thing because I've never
You
heard
could
him
probably do
practice. I've never heard him practice. Ever,
Really?
Ever.
Never?
I've never heard either of my boys practice.
Your kid's pretty good, too.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, I don't know.
the older one.
One of
was
them's
good.
more artistic than the
Yeah.
other. One's more athletic, probably. Is that how that goes?
Probably, yeah.
Where we had both. I was an athletic musician, as it were. No.
Sort of, kind of good at either. Or
Yeah,
both.
just kind of below average at all of it.
And here we are.
What do you want to? What would you rather have your kid like? Average to below average at everything, or excel at one thing but kind of be like really shitty at other stuff?
What's the one
I
thing?
mean, it depends on what the one.
Yeah, if it's beating off, you don't want him to really excel at that.
Yeah, we see.
No,
how that
like
can-
musically or athletically, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, look, listen. When they're young, you love to watch them play sports and all that, but what percentage of kids are going to end up being professional athletes?
Yeah.
You can't get sucked into that idea that athletics has, any sort of future for them. So
Well, you could go to North Carolina.
yeah, you could and float right through and get your degree.
Sure. Yeah, degree's
Boy.
a degree.
They're in trouble.
Yeah.
That is, Jay, and I know obviously I can't speak too much to having kids or anything, but that is the one thing I've always thought about if I did have a kid, the concept of like, if they want to play sports, like it's, especially nowadays, it seems like it's such a thin line between pushing them and saying, hey, if you want to be good at this, you need to be practicing every day, but also not being the dad that's making them not want to play it anymore.
You can tell early on whether they have it or not.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
and if they've got that ability,
Would you push
go,
a little harder?
Yeah,
if
you push
felt
a
like
little
they did?
harder, but they've got to love it, or they're not going to put the time in.
Right.
Like one of my boys is a bit more serious about soccer than the other right now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's fine.
Yeah.
Neither of them are going to be pros, but
You can't say that.
I
It's
can't
like you
say that.
told your daughter she's not going to be a princess. God, what kind of father are you?
No.
Need to be realistic.
Realistic, yes. I think the problem is that parents see anything like it was common when we were little to score 4 goals in a game. Like you could do those, but there were certain parents that really thought that meant something, like their kid was
Right.
special. It's like, no, it's just everybody chasing a ball around, and it just doesn't mean anything.
And there's 8 divisions above where you are, and so your division really means shit.
Yeah, means nothing.
It's also like sometimes when you get those parents, I would say, like, you get like a baseball league, and you get the one dad that wanted to be really involved, so he would like almost like stack the deck so his kids' team would be so really good and just destroy the other little league teams. And I'd always be like, what's kind of the point of that? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, okay, so what? You stack the deck in like 8th grade baseball or football, and your kid's destroying teams that aren't as good as yours because you like maybe manipulated the the zoning or what.
Dude, the youth sports and youth coaching and all that shit right now is so much bigger than when you and I were kids, Mike. I mean, it's
Yeah.
crazy the dollars that go into it here and
Nuts.
the importance that's placed on it. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
There were travel leagues back then,
Yep.
but now it's like everything is that level.
Really?
And then there's the top travel that you're trying to then get into. So it's
So would a Harrison team be better now than when we played?
oh yeah.
Really? Like
Frankly,
way
you wouldn't have made it, Mike. No,
and that's okay.
The
I'm
quality
fine.
of play is so much better. I was telling Deuce this the other day.
But we
like,
would have
dude,
been better. We would have been better too.
Yeah. I was telling Deuce, or maybe it was you. Like, you guys got to come out and watch my boys. I mean, they're 5 years ahead of where we were.
Really?
You know, it's just and that's just getting more touches and getting more time, you know, in training and shit. It was regular back when we were kids, twice a week. You know, one game on the weekend. Now you have 2 or 3 games on the weekend, and 2 or 3 trainings during the week.
Yeah. So it'd be easy to get way further ahead, especially at that age.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, back to this, and I would like to come see your kid play. I want to see Tooch's daughter play baseball too. Softball, yeah. She's amazing. If she wants to, she'll go on a scholarship somewhere and play. I mean, she's been on ESPN. She's amazing. But he's going through those same things where there's that fine line between, okay, she's really good at this, but does she really love this?
Yeah.
And do I want to be that dad that's pushing her? You want to push him, but don't force him because then you'll drive him away from it. So it's like that whole fine line, and he's walking that balance. But
there's a show, you ever seen it on HBO called they did a series called Trophy Kids. I think it was like 4 parts or something, and it was about these kind of parents that are like just pushing their kid, and one was like a little girl. I mean, you know the stories, but it was just so funny to watch these dads.
Yeah, so many of them, it's so obvious that they're living through their kid, you know?
Yeah, right.
Like, you're a big fucking loser. So you're living and dying by whether your kid performs here. It's just,
yeah.
Sad.
I would probably do that, by the way. Force my kid to do something and do it well, and then, no, I would never do that. I wouldn't have a kid, so it won't matter, right?
You know,
And if I did, my kid would probably turn out like this, unfortunately. I'd be a lousy parent, and my kid would end up shooting up Parliament. It's good to see, though, for the first time, you don't usually see this. Usually they try to justify it somehow or make excuses for why their kid has some absolute monstrous behavior. But the mother of Zahef Babu, Babu. I think
it's not Bibo?
It's Bibu.
Bibu. Okay.
Bibo. Yeah. No, actually, not even that. We're going to call him, where was it? Was it Michael Paul? Matthew Paul or something? It's like, you're just Matt Paul. Stop it. We're not calling you Bibo. Forget it, dude.
Asshole.
Yeah. Shit, where was it? I had his name, and I was like, no, we're calling him this. He hadn't visited his mother in like 5 years.
Right, and then he just had lunch with her 2 weeks ago or something.
Mike Paul. Michael Joseph Paul.
Nice.
So we'll just call him MP or Mike Paul.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mike Paul hadn't seen his mom in years, like 5 years. Showed up like a week ago, and had lunch with her. She came out and said she's appalled by his actions. Good for her. I'm mad at our son. I don't understand, and part of me wants to hate him at this time. Mike Paul said he had no insight, or actually Mike Paul's mother said she had no insight into her son's action. His mother spoke with him last week over lunch. I had not seen him for over 5 years before that, so I have very little insight to offer. Sounds like he was going to this mosque and then got himself in trouble with the mosque because he was showing up too often. He would show up there multiple days a week and offend people. Yeah, it's pretty.
And he was
funny.
a new guy, right? He was a new convert.
Yeah, he was in and out for a couple of months in 2013. He had a problem speaking politely and used some vulgar language to people. Yeah, asshole. He had some discussions with administration there that because he was complaining that what's going on here? You're letting in non-Muslims too. What's going on? You're too friendly to people. And they're like, yeah, fucker, we're a mosque. Sorry, deal with it. Anybody can come in here. And he was all appalled at that and took off. Then he got busted for drugs and went to jail. And when he got out of jail, they found him sleeping in the mosque. Yeah, he'd found a key and was breaking into the mosque and sleeping in there. So they're like, yeah, can we have the key back? And will you get the hell out of here?
Piece of shit.
And then had to change the locks and everything. Yeah, nightmare. Found the key there. He wasn't acting at all normal. His demeanor was such that people around him didn't feel comfortable.
So did he have any direct tie to ISIS, or was this just him trying to act out and get some notoriety?
It sounds like they're still trying to put that all together, but I had heard originally that there was a connection between him and the guy that ran over the the other, not police. Was it a policeman or
No,
military guy?
I think they were military guys.
Yeah, military. There was some sort of connection there, and he had jihadist ambitions.
And he was trying to get to Syria.
Mike
he was on
Paul
some,
was,
Yeah,
yeah.
he was on some no-fly
Yep.
list or whatever.
Yes, and that's, I think, what this started over. He was trying to get his passport back so he could go be a jihadist prick, and
Yeah.
not good.
Well, it's good to know he was a lone wolf and a pretty lame one at that. Taken out by the sergeant at arms, I think, at the Parliament, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wasn't. He killed the one guy, just ambushed him at the tomb of the unknown soldier or whatever it is.
The memorial, the war memorial there.
Then he runs up there and doesn't even kill another person before this sergeant of arms takes him down. It's
Yeah.
Like an old. I mean, not that it
Yeah,
matters,
no,
but I mean,
total-
it's like an old dude.
like a ceremonial kind of position,
Right.
you know?
Like he was something, but now he's just. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, he's just there wearing like a robe and everything, and just real ceremonial type dude, and pulls it out and whacks the guy.
Yeah. Which, did you see the video of him walking through Parliament with his gun out?
Mm-mm.
They've got him on security cam, like after he shot the guy. I think it's after he shot him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he's walking around. He looks like a badass. They
he does look like a badass on that.
Yeah, he was a cop for 30-some years or something. So, yeah, this is the first time he ever had to use his weapon, though.
Wow.
First time he ever pulled the trigger. He's 58 years old or something, been a cop for decades.
Wow.
Never had to pull his gun before.
Well, Canada's probably a bit more peaceful than a lot of the
Yeah.
big cities. Mike, shirtless running guy, our
Yeah.
listener,
Mhm.
he wrote in, gents, as one of your listeners living in Ottawa, I should
Wow.
mention that yesterday's terrorist attack was sadly overdue. Many people here have long said that we are not immune here to the types of craziness that people associate with the U.S. I'm guessing if you subscribe to this extremism, you don't make any distinctions between Canadians and Americans. After all, we went to Afghanistan, we joined you in the first Iraq War, and we're starting to bomb ISIS in the coming days. I work just across the street from Parliament where all this happened yesterday. I was very lucky to have been home sick yesterday.
Wow.
But I will say this, when you go through something like this, it makes you appreciate being friends with the toughest guy in the schoolyard, the USA. Having grown up in the Sarnia area across from Michigan, I appreciate our close ties with the U.S. more than most Canadians. It's one reason why we will never be intimidated by these fuckers.
Good.
Yeah.
Good for him. It's funny. They've had 4, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4 shooting deaths in Ottawa last year.
What?
Wow. No wonder the guy's never drawn his weapon.
Yeah, 4.
Wow.
But when you talk about like journalists that cover the war, even American journalists try to get Canadian papers because they just view them a little bit different. Like they're not as big of a target as American journalists. People don't. If you're going over to cover that shit, you don't even want American credentials. They're such a target. I wonder if this won't draw Canada into this thing. Like, okay, you want to come to join the party now?
Maybe.
You ready to go here? You see, this can happen to you. It will happen again. This is not just an American thing, and we'll see.
This sounded almost though like it's less organized terrorism and more mental health.
But that's what they're calling for, and it's not.
No, exactly. And we're about to mention a story in New York that happened last night, and it sounds like these lone wolves. That's what they're calling for. It's just these fuckheads who want to make a name for themselves or want to be recognized somehow.
Yeah. Yep. And they do, and they're telling them, run people over, stab them if you can, do whatever, anything. They just want to make headlines, and they know it'll make headlines.
Like the Hatchet Man in New York.
Yes. What is the deal with this? This kind of broke today.
Yeah.
Later in the day, some guy attacks a cop, right, with an axe.
Ugh.
The guy, did he kill him?
I don't know. I didn't.
Stunning news out of New York today. Fast developing potential Islamic terror attack on a New York City police officer, possibly with links to ISIS. A man with an axe approached a group of NYPD officers and in an unprovoked attack struck 2 of them with an axe before they fired upon the subject, killing him. There he is.
Imagine being
there
attacked
he is dead,
with an
by the way.
axe.
Oh,
Yeah. Laying there, face up.
yeah.
Gross, dude. Just being hacked at.
I'm glad they didn't like cuff him and take him in with no. You attack a New York City cop with an axe, boom, dead.
He's been dealt with.
He's been dealt with, exactly. Which kind of pisses me off when you see the We had another White House jumper Wednesday night.
Mm-hmm.
He got over the fence and was mauled by dogs. But part of me says, why didn't you just shoot that guy? People need to know, and they need to absolutely see that, you know what, if you go over that fence and you end up on the White House's front lawn, you're probably going to get shot and killed for that.
I agree.
I have no problem with that.
Especially at this time, and especially from what happened in Canada 2 days ago.
Exactly. We know their targets. We know their targets. So to me, it's like send a very, very clear message that, yeah, you might get bitten by dogs. You might have 10 bullet holes in you, too.
Yeah.
It's just the way that shit goes.
Hey, Mike, I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah, there you go.
Shit, duck.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you come over the fence? I'm sorry.
It says that the guy hit two of the cops, one in the right arm, one in the head. The guy that neither of them are dead, but the guy that got hit in the head, he's critical but stable.
Ugh.
So they're going to pull through.
You think so?
Again, imagine standing there and somebody just runs up and hits you with an axe in the head.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah,
That's just.
And you're standing there with a bunch of cops.
But you know what? If that's all these assholes got, is this, these lone wolf dudes who are going to run up with an axe or kill a single person in Canada's capital, you know what? Fuck them.
Yeah.
That's all you got?
Yeah.
Little lone wolf guys who are going to rise up and try to take out onesie-twosies. I know that sucks. It's tragic for the onesie-twosies.
Twosies.
But really.
What are you playing jacks over there? We got twosies.
I guess this White House jumper, by the way, his dad says he was sick mentally. He tried to get in. He had told his dad that, I need to talk to the president about the voices he's hearing or some shit.
The last guy who got in the front door said he had to talk to the president about the atmosphere collapsing.
Yeah. You know what? You can call and leave a message at the White House.
Write a letter.
They do respond to those. We used to call the White House all the time, me and Beagle. We used to call the White House and pretend we were little kids.
You and Mike?
Yeah, that's a good talking about yourself in the
David
third
the
person?
David the Beagle and I would call the White House and pretend Jeremy, and we played Jeremy and what was his name? I don't know. Timothy and Jeremy. And Timothy and Jeremy would call and just fucking talk to the White House would answer the phone, and we'd be on the phone for 15 minutes with them talking like little kids who were left alone at home, and we were like 6 years old. Yeah, hi, I'm Timothy, and she'd be like, "Oh, hi,
I'm
Timothy."
Jeremy.
But they'd answer and they'd stay on the phone. Yeah, I won't find any audio of those calls, but it was fun.
Yeah, so you can just give him a call,
Give him a
write him a
call.
letter. My grandpa used to do it all the time.
Yeah, it's the way they do it.
Write his congressman.
Right.
He's got a beef. Yeah. Write your congressman.
Would they ever get really back? Or?
No, you get a form letter,
Right.
From some staffer.
Of course.
This guy, by the way, was charged with 2 counts of assault on an officer because he kicked the dog.
Oh, he's an officer. The
Canine unit.
Wow.
When I watched
That's fucking awesome.
when I watched the Inside Edition version of that story, they were like, that's how they explained it. I forget the names of the dogs. They said that even the
Hurricane and Jordan.
Yeah, Hurricane and Jordan, and then they're like, and tonight Hurricane and Jordan are back on patrol or something.
They are.
Like
They
that.
went to the vet. They were treated for minor bruising.
Officer Hurricane.
As if they said to them, all right,
Officer Hurricane, Officer Jordan.
Mr. Hurricane. And yeah, as if they said to them, like, okay, guys, I know you're involved in a little something here, but back on the beat.
Yeah.
No.
I guess they bit this dude in the knee and the arm and the stomach. They went all out.
Well, it's good to know that they've got those in place now. That was our big question with the last guy. Where the hell were the dogs? Where was anyone, before the guy got into the third room of the first floor of the White House?
They're probably going for walkies in the back of the yard.
Could
back of the
be.
house.
Taking a dump.
Yep. Having some dinner. Eating their brown circles, as I call it.
Milk cookies,
You want
you
some
mean?
delicious
Brown
delicious
circles.
brown circles? God, look at those. These look like
Awesome.
delicious brown circles. Speaking of ISIS, interesting twist. I was reading a story today by Justin Moyer, and deputy editor of the Morning Mix, and he's got a story about Halloween. And I was interested in your take. Like, if your kids came up to you and said, "I want to go as an ISIS guy for Halloween," because Halloween celebrates, you go as Satan, you go as a devil, you go as, people go as Osama bin Laden.
Yep.
ghosts. You know, you take your scariest things, whether real or not, and you dress up and you go out one night a week and mock it.
Yeah, the mocking thing is kind of cool. The idea of
Yeah.
laughing at ISIS in that way.
Like if you saw kids, you know, his point in this article is like seeing kids carrying around a black flag and wearing that, but then they're having the little orange pumpkin pail in their hands. Just kind of like, would you really want?
At the same time, there's something. I don't know if I want my kids doing that. You know.
But it seems to almost like it would be taken the wrong way and look like a show of support for them in a sense.
Yeah, you'd have to goof it up somehow. You know.
Yeah.
I don't
Like
know
have
how,
them all
but
like elephant walking together, all the ISIS
bullet
guys.
holes in them or something.
Yeah,
Well, he's right though. If you have like the plastic pumpkin, like I think
don't
that would
know.
be very disrespectful. I think that would be disrespectful. And God, that's a tough question, I guess.
His argument is we make light of our greatest fears by dressing up as them. Acceptable bad guy. Halloween costumes include the Grim Reaper, ninjas, Richard Nixon, Skeletor, Satan, Darth Vader, Maoist
That's
soldiers.
a very good point.
Well,
though, dude.
I think the premise true though that we're making fun of that. I think a lot of kids dress up like Dracula because they think they look like him, and you know they think it's cool looking. Are they really making fun of a vampire?
Or Satan, I guess. Why do you dress up as Satan? Like,
Yeah.
It can. He says, let's goof on them on the internet, putting pictures up of kids dressed goofy like them. I don't know.
think you have to goof it up if you are going to do that, because like you said, it would look like some sort of sign of support if it's not somehow
that would be my
making
fear.
them look cartoonish or something.
He's saying like, oh, imagine you got some ISIS kid standing between Wonder Woman and Yoda, and it's like, yeah, it's not, but it like kids like Wonder Woman and Yoda.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There are certain taboos. He mentions this in the article, like when Prince Harry dressed up as a
the
Nazi.
Yeah.
He said that shouldn't have been a problem. When a member of the British royal family can idly dress up as a long-defeated madman who once threatened Britain's very existence, it's the ultimate tribute. So I don't know.
I'm not sure everybody's on the same page in terms of what a costume means on Halloween, that you can be sure that it's going to be translated this properly. Do you know what I mean?
That would be my fear.
Yeah.
Because usually I'd be on board with something like this.
Yeah.
It seems like the kind of story I'd be like, yeah, dress your kid up in ISIS.
But I'm
Hilarious.
not really sure why people, you know, yeah, we all need to be on the same page.
Yeah.
Are we goofing on these people, or
Yeah.
are we? Or I think some kids are trying to look as much like they can as like a scary ghoul or whatever.
right.
For sure. And
Or whatever.
What are you referencing, Jay?
You're rubbing off on me.
I know. Someone pointed out that Jay said "or whatever" a few times, and it was not.
I have to. It sucks.
Okay.
Well, I think of you every time I go.
Just
"Or
neutered
whatever."
that argument.
It's
there.
like that
know.
chick who's shaving her box in the shower and she
Yeah.
thinks the E. It's
Yeah.
like every
It's
time
like,
I'm like, yeah, Jay or whatever. It's like,
It's not like she's really thinking of E. You know.
Well, she
really
is, though.
thinking of E.
every time
No.
she looks at her vagine,
Yeah,
she's thinking of Big E. She's got Big E's head there.
We've had 2 women write in about thinking about Big E as they're in the shower or
Yeah.
shaving their lady parts, and neither of them had anything but hygiene in mind.
Nonetheless.
when they've done it.
I have a feeling they're going to be.
Nonetheless.
Hey, whatever gets you in the shower with them, right? E?
Any press is good press, right?
I imagine now that we've even said that, there are going to be more girls who are in the shower thinking about Big E.
Can only
So
hope.
sorry.
Can only hope.
So
Apologize for that. He's not really there, but you're going to think about him.
sorry.
My fear is I'm going to think about him in the shower now.
I just thought that. God damn it.
God damn it, E!
You don't shave your pubes in the shower, do you?
No. What are pubes?
Freshly shorn.
Yeah, we're not in North America.
You don't even know what they are. Yeah.
I don't even know what they are.
Yeah, okay.
No matter how dangerous, this guy wraps his article with, no matter how dangerous these guys are, they will be less of a threat when they're the target of popular ridicule. Nobody wants to give his or her life for a farce. So forget too soon. Let's expose the sullen, anti-Semitic, un-Islamic, homophobic, rapist brats running around Syria and Iraq for the clowns they are by clothing our kids like them with black flags this Halloween. Let's make dressing up as ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi more like dressing up as the Iron Sheik. Let's make these goons fodder for a costume party.
Yeah, sort of like Eminem did to Bin Laden in that one video, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. And he mentions Genghis Khan, who reportedly or allegedly killed so many people that carbon emissions decreased.
What?
Yeah. It says, trick or treat is Genghis Khan, who allegedly killed so many people that carbon emissions decreased. So if you can go out as him, you can go out as anybody.
Yeah.
It might fall into that too soon. It just seems too real, the whole ISIS thing. My dad doesn't even like us talking about it.
Really?
Yeah, because they're just such radical nut jobs on a level
Oh,
we've
you
never
think they're gonna
seen.
come after us?
Yeah, the fear is.
I was thinking more that he just thought by talking about it, we're giving them any more press than they even deserve. That's right.
No.
He really thinks that he's worried that because we.
He's more
slam him.
worried about because. And I understand. I mean, you see articles. People even mention Muhammad. If you're not a Muslim and you mention Muhammad, it's grounds for death.
Yeah, it's like that Dutch cartoonist.
Exactly. People have been beheaded on the street, so he hears me yelling, "Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, fucking boom, blow them up, chip them, fuck them in their stupid beard." Yeah, he hears all that shit, and he's like, "Jesus Christ, you're gonna,
He hears Mike Walters saying that, and Jay,
and he's
Jay
like, "You're
Quick-
probably gonna get Big E's head cut off for Christ's sake."
No, I'm not. I've never.
Look
you
at
know,
the neck on that guy.
I never once said whatever you just said.
You definitely have a, You would be the one. You would be the one.
To
Look
what?
at the
Would.
neck on that
That
guy.
neck looks way inviting,
If all
dude.
three of us were standing there,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they
what
could only
is-
pick one.
Dude, I do have a long neck,
You do.
don't I?
It's very inviting.
Dude, I'm
very
already-
inviting.
Somebody put you on that Binks picture because you're such a huge Jar Jar
Did you
Binks
ever
fan.
see that, dude? Oh my God.
Oh, Misa have a long
He
neck.
did a really good job. of that.
long neck.
Hey, Jar Jar Binks.
And he
I-
put the ears like
Your favorite-
exactly. It was perfect.
It was
man.
perfect.
He
He-
really worked on it.
His goofy face works for a lot of things. As Jar Jar Binks, the guy or the girl I think that put him in the as Gilligan.
Oh, that was perfect.
Fucking perfect.
Yeah.
Like we all kind of in a weird way worked in that picture, but Big E really looked like a perfect Gilligan.
Oh my God! And then remember what is it? One of Beavis too. People have put me up as Beavis.
Oh yeah, you could
before.
pull off Beavis for sure. Hey, we haven't touched on Ebola lately.
Oh, that's still around.
It's still around. It is.
It's
In
working on your
fact-
billion people right now as we speak.
the-
might be.
The news media is going to be so hard for this story. Like they don't want this story to die. They want this story to be as widespread as they can. That gives them something to cover,
Well,
something to
it's-
talk
it's
about.
hit the center of the universe.
Yes.
Thankfully for them, it's in New York, dude.
This is another Doctors Without Borders physician,
Mm-hmm.
and word was that he was having Ebola-like symptoms, but that could be malaria, that could be the flu, it could be food poisoning. But I was willing to bet if he's coming from New Guinea,
10 days ago,
10 days ago, yeah,
fever, nausea, pain, and fatigue.
yeah. Craig Spencer is his name, 33, came back 10 days ago, as you said, and it's Ebola.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's official. He's got Ebola.
damn it!
Chalk it up. It sounds like this guy was at least at a bare minimum. He wasn't seeing patients.
He was very careful. Yeah,
He was very
sort of.
careful.
It sounds like he almost quarantined himself, like after coming back. Like he laid low,
Yeah.
watched everything real closely, and then as soon as he felt anything, he reported himself.
Yeah.
Got transferred very carefully,
Mm-hmm.
and so hopefully it's under control.
Yeah. We hope.
But it's in New York, for God's sakes.
It's officially in New York. Texas workers, by the way, healthcare workers there, were Nina Pham and
Right.
Amber Vinson. Amber Vinson, they're saying, is free of Ebola now.
Yeah, I saw that.
And Nina Pham has been upgraded.
Vincent
She's
is the one
very-
who went to Cleveland.
Yes.
Probably left it all over there. But
Right.
she's good.
She's good, yeah, apparently. It seemed a little fast to be cleared of Ebola.
It does, man.
And if it's a virus, how do you get rid of it? Beth and I were talking about this. Like, how do they declare? Is it just like the flu? Like, yeah, you have it for a week and then it's gone?
Was she one of the ones who was getting the blood transfusions from the first doctor?
Pham was for sure. I don't know if I'm sure they tried with Vincent if her blood type matched. I just don't know. I can't say for certain.
Look at that picture of E, by the way. Misa love Jar Jar Binks.
Damn, dude.
Dude, I didn't
Misa
even
have
see that
long
one.
neck.
Look how good that. Go back to that. Look
I hadn't even seen that one.
Yeah, look at how he
How
blended
good
it into
he
his
blends.
unshorn face.
What do you do? That's
Got the Detroit
hilarious.
Cast button on.
I thought it was the Jar Jar Binks where you're on the planet Tatooine
No.
getting beheaded.
That was a good one too, though.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about.
Look at Gilligan.
Look at that Gilligan.
Perfect face.
I have such a dope face on there right now. Like, what adult I look like.
He's going.
He's just making that
squinting.
who gives a shit look. Like,
God, what an idiot.
I think Beth works the best there, and E
Yeah,
Yeah.
Beth is pretty good too.
as Lovey. Beth as Lovey.
Lovely.
Yeah, but the rest of us kind of look forced in. But
From a
Biggie
distance, it looks
awesome.
pretty good, though.
Yeah, we would have worked on the Gilligan's Island cast. We would have. So Texas Ebola workers, they're practicing now on how to deal with Ebola, and they used to use a mixture of like ketchup and water, and they'd like throw it around the room like it's vicious diarrhea
Ah,
and puke. And they started using Tabasco sauce, so that if you felt it on your, because it'll burn your skin, Tabasco will, so that if you feel it on, like if you get it, you know if you've been contaminated or not.
interesting.
Yeah, isn't that kind of interesting the way they do that?
Yeah.
You know how they usually get it? They say those when they're all covered up.
Oh, when they zing their gloves or something and it splatters.
Yeah, when they
into the
snap their
eyes.
gloves off. Yeah. God.
Gross.
Mm-hmm.
Think of that vomit or feces just
Feces.
flying into your eyeball.
It just sounds like, I think you described it, Jay. It sounds like the Exorcist room.
Yeah.
You know what they used for that?
What? Oh, pea soup?
Yeah.
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 God, that's a scary movie, huh?
It was. Would it still be today?
I don't know. Back then it was, man.
Did you like the
that one
Freddy
freaked
Krueger
me.
movie?
Nah.
Nightmare on Elm Street. I love Nightmare on Elm Street.
Check it. There's something about a kid, like, I don't know.
Remember? Did you like Poltergeist?
We were talking about that the other day. I wondered if I showed my boys that, whether they'd just be like, that's pretty fake looking. Because that was a good one, dude, back in the day.
In the TV, the kid in the TV, wasn't that Poltergeist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she started by talking to the fuzzy TV,
Yeah.
and there were spirits talking to her or whatever.
Yeah. I think your kids would be scared at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Any of these would.
I'm sure it looks totally dated now with the special effects, but
It does, but still.
yeah, anything creepy like that'll get you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the same thing like going into a haunted house. You know it's not real, but there is still that,
Yeah.
like, oh, God, scared.
Gives
We're
you the
hoping
willies.
anyways. By the way, I was talking to Beth about it. She's like, you idiots. When we were talking about, well, if we put on the headset, we need to get one of those that, she's like, just put it on one of E's friends backwards and have it filmed back at E as he's walking
that's
through
not gonna
it.
work.
do that.
Those aren't going to work anyway.
Yeah, that's
They're
the
not
alternative,
They're not
but-
going to let you walk in. You're going to have to sneak a camera in. They're not.
Well,
gonna let
yeah,
you walk in,
obviously,
so
but if you
that's
walked
not
in and just
sneaking
put it on,
What
and
if,
then went
what if
through,
your buddy
no.
had a chesty on backward and then he had it under a hoodie sweatshirt or something, then whipped
I've
his
got
hoodie
something.
off?
Yeah.
I think I've got something in the works where I'm going to try to do it this Saturday. So
yeah.
it's going to be kind of, I think, like a in the hoodie thing or something like. Something where I got a few ideas. One is like a haunted hayride where they could sit across from me, and that would be pretty easy just to kind of like.
I think you're ducking out of the fact that you don't want to be in small quarters with scary things. This haunted hayride idea where you know it, you son of a bitch. You're trying to get out of being scared.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
If somebody out there is in contact, I have tried with a few and I have not gotten good responses. If somebody out there is in contact with a haunted house that they know someone that owns one or they know someone that runs one, and they'll.
Dude, you've snuck cameras into
go
so
and
many
try it.
things. You've snuck cameras. You've never asked permission. You
but
asked
it's a
forgiveness,
little-
not permission.
It's a little harder because I don't have my buddies that used to do that all the time. I tried to ask my one buddy, and I think he was busy.
Biggie, we called my father-in-law on Monday. Are you into this or not? Are you in, dude? This
Dude,
seems really limited.
If someone
your
had laid
commitment.
down $10,000, I was gonna fucking.
Your
suck
commitment.
it. Oh, okay.
It's true. You still will.
Yeah.
Right?
That was an ongoing.
Yes, that is an
pledge.
ongoing offer, everybody.
Oh
Would
yeah,
you
that's
do
a
that
lifetime
for
offer.
$10,000, Jay?
No.
So where's
Mike.
your commitment, my man?
He's already
I'm not
committed.
half
He had
gay.
his father on the phone.
I'm not either. It would suck. Get it?
That would suck for you.
Yeah.
And yes,
Or-
we get it.
I know you guys get mad when I laugh at your puns, so I thought I just attacked my own pun. Well, it's
Thank
not
you.
a pun, but you know what I mean.
I didn't know what you mean. North Carolina.
Dude,
Is this for real?
All right,
This is crazy. What a crazy story.
North Carolina basketball has to be top 3 or 4 program, right?
Ever?
Yeah.
I mean,
Right?
going
Am I wrong
back
on
to
that?
Michael Jordan. Jordan went to North Carolina.
Sure.
Dean Smith.
Yeah. I mean,
It's a major program.
and what are they saying the last 18 years?
20.
20 years, okay. It's been a complete farce in terms of moving people through, moving athletes through.
Yeah. They had what were called paper classes, where you basically the deal was, and these were kids that they said couldn't really read. Take a kid who's a great athlete and said, yeah, he basically reads like what you would consider a grade school kid to be reading it, but he's awesome at hoops and he can catch a football. So by all means, welcome to the team. And this went on for 20 years. I mean, they had administrators, teachers, professors, like everybody knew what was going on, and just let this continue.
Yeah, it almost has to be a total inside job. Everybody in conjunction.
Yeah.
Because you feel like if you just tried to do that as a coach, you might get one professor on board with it, but you've got to have a real vast organization there to do that.
And CNN had been digging around this story for a while, and this has been going on for years, and they've always just covered it up, like, oh yeah, the whistleblower, they trashed her name. One of the professors. This all started, let's see, with a studies in African American studies course, and it sounds like that professor actually was tough, but his assistant or something had the idea, who was a huge fan of the football program or basketball program, came up with the idea for a paper class where they just have to write one paper and they would have to turn it in. There was no.
Whoa.
I know.
Whoa.
Yeah, there was no and apparently when she wouldn't change grades, like whatever grade she gave you, but it was always like A's and B's because these kids had to get to a certain GPA to stay eligible for the team, and so they called them GPA boosters. These courses. I mean, how insulting is that for guys that went to university and are like, you think about what you went through to get your degree.
Yeah, and I can't believe the NCAA hadn't uncovered that if it was that big of a conspiracy to do that, because I know every big university has compliance offices and people that are devoted to making sure that kids stay eligible and they're watching what they're taking and they're making sure that everything's in line.
Yeah.
So how did it go on for 20 years? Just flat out saying, turn in a piece of shit paper, we give you an A.
I don't know.
It'd have to be more complicated.
Yeah, and it sounds like there was a lot to cover it up, and they went to great lengths. It's probably one of those things where once the snowball is going, it's hard to undo it without I mean, that's major.
Do you think this goes on at every major school?
Probably.
Yes.
To an extent?
Yeah.
Just not that extent?
And I don't know why they care. Like this, under this guise that, does anybody really think that these student athletes are just that? Anything more than athletes?
Right.
I mean, student and athlete, I mean, unless you're going to some Ivy League where I just think that there's incentive for these universities to not give a shit and to turn a blind eye. We've heard about this shit forever. You've heard about this kind of behavior forever. Maybe at Michigan State, there's some ramblings, and then at Michigan, Florida State had that in 2009, where they went through some stuff, and there were 60 students that were called out for. But everybody knows. Yeah, I've talked to goddammit son about this, and everybody knew. Like the basketball players that were in class with them, it was like, yeah, they'd be there a couple days a semester. It was like a joke. He was there when the Fab Five were there. And it was like, yeah, I had a class with so-and-so. I think he showed up once.
Right.
It was like, that's in Michigan.
Yeah, but there's a lot of classes like that where people just don't show up. I mean,
yeah,
it's not just them.
But that's maybe so. But I mean, I think it just speaks to the bigger problem. It's like nobody really gave a shit if Chris Webber got a real degree. Did anyone care? It's like, just go perform on the field. It's essentially professional athletics the way it is nowadays.
For sure.
It just is.
To call them student athletes and to hold them to these standards. I mean, we talked about it before. Just start paying them and be done with it.
Be done with it, exactly. It's like, yeah, they're not quite at the pro level, so they don't have to make $10 million a year, but you could give them $100,000, they'd be thrilled. more money than they've ever seen, and if they want to get a degree, the opportunity is certainly there.
It'd be pretty tough too, you know, if you think about it, to be a serious student and be in a Division I
Dude, it's
sport.
almost it's not impossible. But dude, you're right. They're not even able to hold jobs. Their practice they practice just as much.
Right, the amount of
essentially.
time that you commit to that sport.
Well,
It
in
would be
basketball, look at it, dude. They're traveling. Football at least it's only once a week a game. Basketball, they're going on road trips where they go down to Illinois, for a game.
Yeah.
Penn State for a game.
Baseball's the same way.
Baseball,
there's a lot
Hell
of games.
yes. Hockey is. I know it's not as big in some, but
and they get a lot of
do
help
it.
from tutors and stuff. And
But still, I mean,
Still, I think everybody, including everybody in this room, just goes, "Oh yeah,
right,
okay, whatever." I mean, do you care? Michigan State is a incredible basketball program. Incredible. Do you care that those kids? What's their GPA? Are they all staying eligible with their GPAs? Are they up to snuff right now?
Yeah, I care if they're eligible. That's all I care about.
Yeah, you care
Yeah,
if they're eligible, but do you care how they get eligibility?
Not really.
No, you don't. Just like I don't care.
No, I
and he
care.
doesn't
I
care.
care
We
in
don't
that,
care.
I care in that I don't want it to become a UNC issue 18 years from now.
Yeah,
You know, where shit's tarnished, and you look back and you go, "Oh shit!" You know, Michigan State was essentially playing against a professional team at Ford Field in 2010.
Yeah,
And
Nine.
and whatever.
Or whatever.
2009, 2010, and it's like, yeah, that had everybody been on the fair playing field, maybe that wouldn't have happened. Maybe two of those guys wouldn't have been eligible, or maybe they'd have gone somewhere else, or whatever
or something. Yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, it matters to me like that. Like,
when it's
you
that
don't want to
widespread.
bring shame to your university. I
Right.
understand that. I get that, but at the same time, just win, baby.
yeah,
Isn't that really what it's about? When
Well, I
we
get-
see this in football, pro sports, it's like,
Cares.
does anybody give a shit if some guy smacks his girl? I mean, do they really, really, honestly, when you think about it, give a shit? Because they haven't forever. People haven't forever. They've swept shit under the rug, and on Sunday the fans are going to be there, and they want touchdowns, baby. I want to be in the Super Bowl this year.
I think about this like in connection with the Tour de France, and I know you guys don't give a shit, but
Yeah.
that is the most amazing athletic endeavor, dude. If you watch
Yeah.
it's incredible.
No,
It's
it
bike riding.
is. It
It's
is.
bike
fucking
riding.
incredible.
It's bike riding.
No, it's
It's riding a bike.
Okay.
Whatever.
Well,
All right.
Bring, bring, bring.
Okay. Well,
No, it's
I
friggin'
riding.
incredible, and guys are all the time getting caught doping, as we know, Lance Armstrong and all that shit. But part of me just goes, let them do whatever they want, just open it up. And,
Yeah.
And let the best, cyborg win.
Yeah. The argument against that is people that don't want to do
That's
Yeah,
the
those
thing about
illegal
it.
things.
Yeah.
It sucks for them.
Yeah.
You don't wanna
It does,
hurt your
but they know what
body.
they're getting into. They don't have to be bicycle riders.
Right.
They don't have to. If you're going into that world, you know what you're getting into.
Exactly.
And the fact is, people have been cheating forever, and they'll continue to cheat. There's always a way to beat the
You're not
system.
cheating,
And
you're not trying, right?
it's right. It's right. Baseball. I mean, greenies and reds. All those amphetamines they've taken. Those go back 100 years. And I don't care if a bicycle rider is doping or switching his blood out every mile. Who cares? I don't care.
Yeah,
Race
I
your little
kinda just-
bicycle.
yeah, I want to see them go as fast as they can.
Yeah. This doesn't go back as far as Jordan, obviously.
Correct.
He wouldn't have been at NC then.
No.
What happens to a university? I mean, this is new. This is new territory. We've never seen a scandal of this magnitude. You're talking like the Florida State one, which in 2009 was believed to be the biggest scandal in college sports at the time. 60 players. They're talking.
What about SMU though? They got the death penalty, right? Back in the 80s.
Yeah, where they're not
They just completely yanked, I think, all their Division One
sports programs.
sports. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck, I wasn't thinking about that one. But so this one they're talking about 3,100 students, which they say is probably extremely low.
Hmm.
Extremely
Yeah,
low.
20 years, man.
Over 20 years, yeah.
That
Damn. I don't know what that. I mean,
I mean, what does that
is-
do? Do you wipe the program clean? Do you take those wins away? Do you take
Who
the
cares?
basketball wins away?
By the way,
Which
who
is funny when they
cares?
do
I
that.
love when they take, like if Michigan had beaten North Carolina in that championship game and they'd taken the banner away. Who cares? You know they won. You know they were the team that won. Then
Yeah.
Well, I think Notre Dame last year forfeited a few wins because they played
Yeah.
with ineligible guys.
Yep.
So MSU was undefeated last year in football.
Really? Did that count?
Oh.
Did that count as an MSU win? Do you
No,
know?
it doesn't count as a win. I think it just doesn't count as a loss.
Really? Is that how they do that? You would think if you're not
That's-
eligible, you'd forfeit the game, you'd lose. It'd be a win.
That sucks only because if they had won that game.
I know.
They'd
it
win the
would've
national
been-
championship game
Yes, they would have.
instead of the Rose Bowl.
You know what's funny, Jay? Just Jay will like this. This is a little off topic, but you'll like this in the sense that I hate the homers. I saw a bunch of Notre Dame fans babbling about their loss this week with some of these, the pass interference
Right.
at the end, and there was these Notre Dame. I can't believe it that we would lose. The refs. It's one thing to lose a game, but the refs. And it's like, wow, they all forgot how Michigan State had they had those 5 blatant almost pass interferences.
Total bullshit. And the refs have admitted that they were wrong.
Right. So it's just funny when you hear the fans, they call it over this one play. And it's like, dude, if those pass interferences don't happen, State wins that game,
Right.
and they're in the national championship. Fuck you, Notre Dame. You know what I mean, though.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I like Spartan Bob, but whatever.
What's that?
Not unlike the cheating Spartan Bob.
Oh,
of
the
course.
Spartan Bob. The one was that
There
the
was
1 second
There was
game?
1 second.
No,
No,
you know,
there was not 1 second left.
It's such bullshit that the NCAA comes back over after their investigation of, well, we've determined there was a second to play, but we're going to change how we do timing from now on, and from now on, no one will ever be able
No one will ever be in that position again.
But it was nothing wrong. Nothing happened. It was
He was right on.
It's ridiculous.
Smoker.
He stopped the clock when he shouldn't have.
Stop the clock.
He shouldn't have.
I
Oh,
just remember
collegiate sports.
Lloyd Carr after that game. The kids deserve better. These kids deserve better. That's all he'd say to every question.
They do. Who did he throw that ball to? Was it? I want to
was
say
Duckett.
White-
Duckett.
Duckett.
Yeah,
T.J.
Smoker to
Duckett.
Duck.
Which was horrible defense, by the way. It was they kind of just watched it happen.
Shouldn't have mattered. There was no time on the clock.
Well, the game
There was
was
no
over
time on the clock.
already.
I can look at that from above and go, there was no time on the clock. They
That
stopped the clock when they shouldn't have.
That's,
Kids deserve better.
but I'm sorry, look,
Lord Carr.
it's bullshit, dude. The NCAA coming back.
Were you crying after that game?
Dude, I remember where I was, man. I was taking the fucking car with 3 Spartan fans driving home from a cross-country meet. And at the time, Michigan State wasn't on a good AM. Yeah, I think they were on the staticky, 950, and Michigan was on WJR. So we were listening to the Michigan feed, and they were all just like, "Oh,
They're going
of course,
crazy.
Branstetter would say that. Of course, wow, you ass. He knows who he is. Chubbs and his parents, his asshole parents."
As bad as you felt
Chubbs.
after that one, I was at the one where Braylon took over. Braylon
Oh,
Edwards.
I was too.
I was too. So was I, Jay.
That was the most
I was at the one
painful game
Rogers
ever.
took over too.
Yeah.
Jay,
Yep,
was the
I was
brilliant
at
one
that
that? Oh no, you're talking about a different one.
At Michigan.
No,
Braylon in the
I'm thinking
second
of a
half
different
went
one.
off.
Yes, Stanton got hurt, and they brought in
Was
Dane.
that a cheap shot on Stanton?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Totally. He got hurt in the first half, and so State was just trying to hang on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And oh my God, Edwards just man amongst boys.
I was
Kind of
at-
like Rogers in that game.
Yeah.
We had 210 yards or something. It was amazing. I remember being at that game.
There's been some good ones.
It's funny, Jay.
I was at the game where Woodson made that interception against
Ooh.
Todd
Oh,
Schultz.
yeah,
That,
yeah.
that was the most amazing. Like I saw that and I'm just like, well, he's out of bounds.
Yeah.
No, they're
Not
calling
out of
that
bounds?
in. Are you kidding me? I couldn't believe it until I got home and watched that. I couldn't believe he was in bounds.
Yeah.
I mean, but just the way he soared up and grabbed that,
Yeah.
unreal.
That was
great,
crazy.
dude.
Yeah, Woodson's still great.
No, dude. He and even in the pros, man. NFL MVP, right? At the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he was Super Bowl MVP. Packers.
Yeah.
Packers. Was that the Packers and? No,
Was he-
doesn't matter.
Yeah, it was. It doesn't matter. You're right, Packers, but I don't remember who they played.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I can't
Oh, you know
can't
what? It
remember
was,
year
it
year
wasn't
by
New
year
England,
who
was
was
it?
in the Super Bowl. Like I couldn't tell you who was in there last year. Seahawks,
Seahawks and Broncos.
Broncos, yeah.
Broncos,
Niners and Baltimore before that.
You're right. I'm like Jay with that. Like I watch it I of course watch the Super
Do you remember
Bowl.
who was in Detroit? Super Bowl
Pittsburgh
XL?
and Seattle.
Mhm.
Okay.
You wouldn't have remembered.
Yeah, I would have remembered that one.
Um,
I remember San Fran and Cincy and Pontiac. Super
Yeah.
Bowl 16, right?
Super Bowl 16. Was that a 20-16 game?
Something like that. It was
Dude,
close.
Back at you.
Montana.
Yep. Back in high school, and my grandpa could have gotten tickets to that because he was a season ticket holder in San Francisco. I was like,
That huge.
and he didn't. And my dad was just like, "What, dude? We're here in Detroit. We could have gone to the game." kidding me?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Now, when you say you could have got tickets,
Because
he
as a
would have
season
gotten a
ticket
lottery holder, or he
No,
would.
I think back then he
them-
could have gotten tickets
Okay.
to that game. Yeah,
Yeah,
at
back then
face
it probably
value.
would have been as
It was still pretty amazing, huge.
like I
but-
was in the drawing as a Lions season ticket holder for Super Bowl tickets for Silverdome, but I mean the chances were incredibly slim.
Yeah, I don't know how many tickets they gave away. If it was just a couple
It
thousand.
wasn't many.
Yeah, no, not gave away, but sold.
Yeah.
Yeah, every player in the NFL gets access, can get two Super Bowl tickets.
Yep, every single
And
player.
they all sell them.
I know.
Almost all of them sell them for a humongous
So
profit.
ridiculous, dude. Like,
Yep, they get
why
their
did
2 free tickets and then sell them
And
for a
why
couple grand
would
each.
Why would they go? I mean, maybe once
Yep.
in a while if you wanted to go. I don't even know
It
why.
just
but-
shows what a racket it all is.
Right, the Super Bowl.
It's just, it is what it is. There's
It's-
so much fraud and everything.
It's the reason that I've in the end decided, as big as a Lions fan as I am, I used to always say as a kid, if they ever made it, I would go to the city no matter what. I probably wouldn't get in, but I'd go. And it's the reason I've since just decided I don't even know if I would go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I
the Super
swear
Bowl's a
to
fun.
God.
It's a party.
I know, but I mean the actual game. Who cares, man? If it's not your team.
I think I would just for the.
Riley's gone every year for like 20 some years.
But he sits in nice seats. I'm thinking
Yeah.
like I'm gonna have to go and deal with 4 hours of freaking bag checking or whatever. They, you know the you know what I mean? Like
Don't bring a bag then.
I know, but the
Security?
Never mind. Yeah, security.
Yeah.
And then the game's forever, and if it's teams I don't even want, I don't know. I'd rather just sit at home and have a party
Me too.
and watch.
I mean, not have a party. I'd rather
Well,
watch
I
it
know
by
you
myself.
don't. I know
but
you'd rather watch it yourself.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what every stadium across the country is experiencing. College is big time taking a hit this year in particular. I mean, people are
Mhm.
just staying home.
No,
Yep.
you know what though,
You know,
Jay?
Can you blame them?
No.
With
no,
the prices the way they are?
I love just watching games by myself.
Totally. I mean, the fact is the cameras are so much better now that
Yeah.
it's in high def. You don't have to deal with bathroom lines and
Back shit up, fast forward.
exactly.
Well, Jay, just to be clear, I'm only saying this about the Super Bowl very specifically. I am someone, as Walters knows me, I
Yeah.
like going to the games.
Yeah.
If Michigan went to the national championship game and I had the money to go, I'd go in a second.
I went to their last national championship.
Rose Bowl in '97.
Yeah.
Or you're not talking about the Sugar? Did you go
Yeah,
to
the
Sugar
Rose Bowl in
too, or-
'97.
That wasn't a national
No, Mark went
championship,
to that.
but yeah, I was wondering if.
Yeah. It was yeah. Wasn't that that the year they
Ryan
tied?
Leaf.
Yep, '97.
97, yeah.
They shared the championship with
God.
Nebraska.
I was in Southern California for that.
How ridiculous! And then the next year we had that team would have played for the national championship, and the next year we had the BCS, right? It was the next year.
I don't know.
Okay, I think it was.
Was that the Nebraska tie?
Yes.
Yeah. Bullshit.
Is there not going here?
Did you say that? Sorry, I was
Hey, did
thinking
we
about
just talk about that already?
Yeah,
Get at me, get at me.
No, who the fuck am I to say anything?
no one. Hey, Michael Ferguson.
Michael
Whoa, whoa,
Ferguson,
whoa, whoa.
the unarmed
Or,
team.
or, I'm sorry, Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri.
Well, of course that's not
The
even-
unarmed team.
Right, unarmed team. I don't even know.
You don't even know the name.
I thought his
Mike
name-
Brown. Big Mike.
I thought his name was unarmed team.
It is. Southern California for that.
First name
Yeah.
unarmed, last name team. And then the next year we have that.
Oops.
That was me rambling on about something.
So more stories are coming out. The grand jury.
Yeah.
What do?
What dude do? Apparently, dude did a lot. And
Well, the grand jury again is the process where the people are seated. They're hearing evidence from the prosecutor as to whether they're going to bring charges against the cop.
yeah,
And shit's starting to leak
Which they
out,
won't.
which shouldn't leak out. This is supposed to be a
how does
highly
this
protected.
happen? Is this just because the media is so
I think
rabid?
so, man. Yeah.
That's got to be what it is, right?
I think somebody, people can't help themselves but talk about shit, right?
Right.
And be the one to kind of give that little sliver to their buddy, and their their
Mhm.
buddy loves them for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, somebody on the inside, whether it could be anybody in a in a court position, just some administrative position that hears something.
Disgruntled at his job, hates his job
Yeah,
anyways.
it could be any number of people, but it doesn't certainly have to be a juror or a prosecutor.
And the fact is, what people don't understand, or maybe they're not thinking about, like residents of Ferguson are coming out and calling bullshit on this. Like, oh, of course these are coming out. All these facts are coming out now. What? Blah blah blah. It's because it's a lightning rod story.
Yeah.
Like that's why. Like normally, a kid gets killed and there's a grand jury, and nobody's aware of it. Nobody cares. Nobody's poking around. Nobody's interested in the stupid story. So that the 12 people that are jurors can go on with their lives, and nobody's asking them questions, and nobody's interested in it. They've turned this story into a story amongst itself. It's like it's bigger than that little zone and that court.
Well, and there's the possibility too that there is a bit of intentional leaking going on, just so that this story doesn't hit like a ton of bricks. You know, you let a little bit out, you let people sort of have the inkling that it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Therefore, don't be shocked in a week when we come out without this, and it sort of gives people time to absorb it.
Mm-hmm.
And
which is probably what's going on here.
Probably.
Because you know it's true. The fact is Eric Holder is making comment about it. He's not coming out and saying the facts are wrong. He's pissed that the facts are getting out.
Right.
Which tells you that what's being reported is exactly what's going on in those chambers. And what they're saying is, and this I guess is the major bombshell, and we've kind of heard stuff like this. More than 8 people, African Americans, black guys, are saying, yeah, unfortunately, what the cops said.
Witnesses, yeah.
Witnesses, yeah.
Black witnesses are saying, or they're supporting the cop's story.
Yeah. So, unnamed black witnesses, because they're worried for their safety. But, and you had said maybe you think Dorian could be one of those?
Remember, there was that report early on. Well, I guess not early on, but a week into the thing, that Dorian had flipped his story, and that was never confirmed.
Wouldn't that be
totally.
Amazing if that actually comes to fruition, that he did? That would be crazy. Like, he's the one guy I would have thought, no way.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the one that had that story. But some of the physical evidence has now come out. The autopsy has come out, including blood splatter analysis, shell casings, and ballistics tests also support Wilson's account of the shooting, which cast Brown as the aggressor who threatened the officer's life. The grand jury is expected to complete deliberations next month. The Dispatch, St. Louis Post-Dispatch, which has been all over this story. I mean, they've really had some interesting things, but they published Brown's official county autopsy report, an analysis of which also suggests that the 18-year-old may not have had his hands raised when he was fatally shot. Oops.
Oh, wow.
Oops.
That's a big fact.
Kind of big.
But we've heard a lot about that. Protests have been based on that. Articles have been written based on that.
Hands up, don't shoot.
A whole movement has been based on that.
Yeah. And this is my problem with this. The problem is when facts of this case come out, people still aren't willing to, like, the first thing they say is bullshit. It's bullshit. Oh, now the feds are involved. Everybody's lying. And it's like, you know what? How about you find a new martyr? How about you actually find someone who deserves to be a martyr and go support them instead of trying to force this fucking square peg into a round hole?
That's what it's been the whole time. That's what it's been so frustrating. At least the facts as we've heard them. That's what it feels like.
I mean, he was shot at close range through the hand.
Hey, Mike, that doesn't matter because he was fatally shot when he's 20 feet away. That's what they keep saying.
Right.
So what? So what if he struggled?
Right.
So what if he struggled for the weapon?
Yeah. It's irrelevant.
He was 20 or 30 feet away. How do you then? How do you explain that?
Yeah. So seeing this more and more come out that, and by the way, he was shot through the hand, which went through his bicep, and what did they say? They said ballistics from the gunpowder were in his hand from at close range, meaning there was a struggle for that gun. Blood in the car. I mean, everything is pointing to almost exactly what this cop said happened is what the facts are saying. Like, you can keep running around the city going, hands up, don't shoot, all you want. But the fact is, doesn't sound like this kid had his hands up. Sounds like he was quite an aggressive prick and probably lost his life because of it. Sorry. Not my fault.
That one piece about what happened when he was 20 or 30 feet away is sort of what everybody's been backed up into now. Remember, it was, why was he even stopped? You know, just trying to go home, trying to go to grandma's house. Well, we know that he strong-arm robbed somebody. 30 minutes before.
Not even.
All right, let's just say he did that. Well, you know, what's this about the struggle? You know, why does the cop even get out? Why is he mad at him? You know, well, there's a struggle for the gun. Oh, well, then why is he shot 20, 30 yards away? Well, that's the one remaining piece, and apparently that's what the grand jury will hear from witnesses, and they'll decide.
Yeah, and they're not going to indict this cop. I promise you, as heard it first on the Detroit Cast, he will not be indicted. I bet the Detroit Cast on it. Jay's Detroit Cast. I bet on it. Benjamin Crump, the famous, he's got nothing to lose for this, right?
Whipping it up.
Yep. I said Brown's family and supporters will not be convinced by the autopsy report or eyewitness statements that back Wilson's account of the incident, no matter what. Which is good to know, like, all they've screamed is justice. We just want justice. And again, no, you fucking don't. You want this guy strung up in Times Square. That's what you want. That's what they want. They want an indictment, and they want this guy on trial, no matter what.
Yeah. And
sorry, if the evidence doesn't say that, and we've seen a lot of evidence coming out that just doesn't support the claims. I'm sorry, they just don't. And I promise you, if it was reversed, and the reports were coming back now that said, you know what, there's nothing in the car, there's nothing in the cop, this kid was shot at a distance of 40 feet in the back, and it looks like his hands were up, I'd be saying fucking take the cop down.
Mm-hmm.
I just would. Crump also says they have their witnesses, they have their, like, this is a game. They have their witnesses. We have 7 witnesses that we know about say the opposite. Yeah, well, witnesses lie. Witnesses have incentive to lie, especially on a movement like this. The problem is forensics don't play favorites. Forensics don't give a shit if you're black or white. Forensics don't care if you're a cop or a civilian. Forensics are going to tell the story of what happened in the moment.
Will it tell it conclusively, though? Because as we know...
as conclusively as we can know.
Yeah, who's the celebrity pathologist who's working for the family? Is that not Biden?
Michael Baden.
Michael Baden. Yeah. He did the early
was paid
thing.
For by the family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you always have these paid for experts that interpret it different ways. Well, it could have been hands up.
Could have had his hands up for a second and then put him down and was shot a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Really? Or he could have been charging because the trajectory of the body looks like it was coming forward in an aggressive manner. There's a lot of things that say that. And they say that the time to get from here to on your ass from 20 feet away is about 1.5 to 2 seconds. On your ass. If you charged, you could get there in less than 2 seconds. So you're talking about we've talked about this, splitting hairs. And if this guy's already wrestled your gun, that gun went off in his holster twice in the car, which is why his blood's in there when he was shot through the hand. Crump also said one of the reasons the family and protesters were opposed to a grand jury proceeding was because it gives authorities too much control over what the public learns about the case, as evidenced by the leaks. Well, are the leaks true or are they bullshit? Because that's kind of important too. Like, if the leaks are lies, that's a problem. But they're all like, well, they just support the cop side. Well, maybe that's what the story tells. Maybe that, like, there's incentive. I just don't feel like there's incentive for these people to bullshit their forensics reports.
Dude, that place is gonna go
up in flames.
Smoke, man.
Yep, sure is. Which I think you nailed it, Jay. That's probably why they're leaking some of this out, just to prepare them now, because they already had small scuffles last night in Ferguson.
What?
Yeah, just because.
Because they're wrong.
Hands up, don't shoot. Yeah,
right.
It doesn't matter. And that's my problem with it. You're trying to force this into a martyr situation that just doesn't deserve it. There are plenty of other cases you could go, here's a guy who really was wronged.
Mm-hmm. The guy that we already watched, the other guy in the van.
He wasn't killed, but yeah.
But no, you're right. But I'm just saying, at least you could look at that and say, wow, this was wrong. Yeah. This could happen.
Yeah. They say the evidence that the grand jury is reviewing is voluminous. From the beginning, St. Louis prosecuting attorney decided jurors would hear and review all credible and reliable evidence, including testimony from each eyewitness. So they were giving them everything. Said, you guys decide. Making them investigators. What?
Jay should say voluminous.
Voluminous?
No, like...
Voluminous.
Voluminous!
I find this testimony to be voluminous.
I've looked at voluminous records and have found you guilty, sir.
God. No, serious, but I can't get this out of my head. When
the grand jury, the evidence the grand jury is reviewing is voluminous. From the beginning, St. Louis prosecuting attorney decided jurors would hear and review all credible and reliable evidence, including testimony from each eyewitness.
I love it, dude. I love it. I know it's a horrible situation, but I love it.
Does it matter that the toxicology report came back and he had weed in his system?
I don't know. It's fine.
But this is the only problem I had with that report. It said, sources said the levels in Brown's body may have been high enough to trigger hallucinations.
Oh.
Really? From weed? Really? Was it laced with something? Like, come on. So he had weed in his system. Big deal.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me. That'd be like saying I had 2 beers. You know what I mean?
Well, it meant something when Tony Stewart ran over that guy. You know, remember that? Like,
yeah.
Why did
I hate
They
that.
they shouldn't have even released that.
Yeah.
There was no way that had anything to. He's already dead. It's not going to help anything. It's not going to help, and it's not going to help Tony's case. It's like, you know what I mean? It's not going to hurt
Well,
Tony.
it did. It helped Tony's case,
Well, no,
and then it was like, oh, this guy's high on drugs. What was Tony supposed to do?
I understand that. What I meant to say is it's not gonna hurt Tony, and it certainly doesn't help that kid anymore. He's dead. Who cares? Don't even, you know what I mean? Don't even leak that out. Who
Yeah.
cares?
Couple stories this week were really good. The Washington Post story today, Thursday, yesterday, I guess, on evidence supports officers' account of shooting in Ferguson is a great read. It's long. The St. Louis Post-Dispatch has had some great stories. On Wednesday, they had a good story kind of along these lines. Interesting stuff. And so if you want to read about it, that's where you can find it. Will be more than you'll get on the regular little sites. But a new ad is out. Remember the fuck hate people that were had the message to white folks?
Yeah, that was the one
in
where
Ferguson.
Don't tell us, you know, if you're a white guy that you've got black friends. You know?
Yeah.
Good for you. What do you want, a cookie?
Yeah. What do you want, a cookie?
Do you not want us to have black friends?
Yeah. I mean,
By
Wouldn't
not having
that-
black friends.
I mean,
that's
if you really do have a black friend, doesn't that definitively say that you're
Yeah.
not? I mean, if they're a real friend of yours,
do you think Klansmen had
I was just gonna
black
say-
friends
Yeah.
just because?
Yeah.
So they can use the argument.
Yeah, I
I've
mean-
got black friends.
I think if you truly have a black friend, then that means you absolutely can't be a racist. That's
I would think so. Yeah, if you really legitimately had an African American as your
and
friend.
I think that's why these jackasses are. And you always hear that. Oh, great! I'm so proud of you. You have a black friend. That sounds
Yeah.
so lame. Well, think about it.
Then
No,
what-
it
yeah.
doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds lame if you're
Says a
throwing
lot.
that out there, like, well, I know black people, and you know. But
Yeah.
if you
I
truly
work
have
with a black guy.
if you truly have a black friend, I think that takes racism off the table.
I would think so too. I tend to agree. I have a feeling they wouldn't agree with you. But the same folks that brought us that video,
With all the young kids,
Racism-
singing and all this under the banner of how's it go? FCKH8. Fuck hate.
yeah, racism is not over, but I'm over racism.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
That was their video, and it was the facts that they're spilling in that video are they're embarrassing. It's and you can make stats look any way you want, essentially, but that was utterly embarrassing. The things that they came out with in that stupid video, and I felt bad for the kids, in a sense,
they're-
like they're just
What are they gonna
puppets,
do? Yeah.
and now we've got more puppets. The same people that brought you that unbelievable video, literally unbelievable video, have a new one. The Fuck Hate group. The feminist movement is selling something that's not feminism. In fuckhate.com's latest video, they've got a bunch of girls all dropping the F-bomb. So I asked,
Like 8-year-old. Hey, there was that thing again.
Yeah.
You did it again. Do it again.
it's the drink.
Red Bull?
It's the Red Bull. It happened to E yesterday.
I know we didn't say anything.
I know.
You and I just kind of looked
What did
at
I
it.
do?
What do
You know
you
that
do?
bubble comes up and you're trying to talk. And
Yeah,
the
I'm
carbonation.
also very well known amongst my friends, and when I start drinking, like I don't burp that often. So when I start drinking beers, if I do burp, I'm very well known where I'll just talk through the burp. Like they make fun of me about that, but I'll just do it. I'll just and just keep talking.
But I was asking you, Jay, like, why? How come this looks like about your daughter's age,
Yeah.
girls? Like, why isn't she in there? Would you
You know
have a
why?
problem
Didn't
with
make
her
the cut.
You know
dropping
why?
F-bombs all over this?
You know why they're dressed as princesses, and she can't be a princess.
Oh, good point. A little girl says, is saying fuck or the fucking unequal and sexist way society treats girls and women. A little girl is talking about that. Fuck the way they treating them. Little girls between 6 and 13 years old dressed up as pink princesses to say fuck in the name of feminism. One girl questioned, what is more offensive, a little girl saying fuck or the fucking on equal and sexist way society treats girls and women?
Well, I guess if the little girl wasn't saying fuck, we wouldn't be talking about it. So
Right.
way to go, fuck hate.
Want to watch part of it?
Yeah.
Pretty. Pretty. What the fuck? I'm not some pretty fucking helpless princess in distress. I'm pretty fucking powerful and ready for success. So what is more offensive? A little girl saying fuck or the fucking unequal and sexist way society treats girls and women. It's our future. So listen up, grown-ups. Here's some words more fucked up than the word fuck. Pay inequality. Women are paid 23% less than men for the exact same fucking work. And women who graduate university with straight A's get paid as much as men who only got C's. So
Yeah, but you're girls.
bad grades equal more bank just because you're a boy? Hello and hell no. Pay up, motherfucker. I shouldn't need a penis to get paid. Rape and violence. Fucked up facts. 1 out of every 5 women will be sexually assaulted or raped by a man. 1,
Really?
2,
1 out of 5.
3, 4.
1 out of 5?
Which one
Well,
of us will it be? So
pause.
how many more women have to get
I'd
knocked
like to
down?
see that number.
Yeah, where did you get that number from? 1 out of 5 women
Really,
will be
man.
sexually assaulted and or raped? But, hold on. That's like saying 1 out of 5 men will be punched or murdered. Like, there's a big difference between sexual assault. That could be, hey, what's up, sweet tits? That could
No,
sexual
you're right,
assault.
That would count.
Or you're going to put that in the same category as rape? Really?
I don't think yelling at someone's sexual assault, but
Why not?
I think you have to.
So some girl walks by and you go, hey, nice ass. That's
guess it's
just sexually
harassment.
assaulting, sexual harassment. What do they say, sexual assault or harassment?
They say assault, sexual assault, and rape. Which
So
I
that could mean smacking a girl on the ass at the
Good.
office, right? Sexual assault. I've done that. I'm guilty. I'm a sexual assault. I'm a rapist and a sexual assaulter. I've smacked a girl on the ass.
This is the dumbest friggin' video I've ever seen.
It's douche chilling, isn't it? Because these girls,
Second dumbest, sorry.
yeah. What? I mean, is that right to have 6-year-olds talking about rape statistics? That seems abusive.
Yeah, that seems abusive. That seems sexually abusive.
I mean, they're obviously going to the extreme just to get attention.
Right. Which
Um,
worked.
It did. It worked. So I'm trying to think.
But you're trying to prove a point that, like, everybody's aware of this point that they're
Yeah.
making, that women are paid less and
that grades thing too, by the way. I don't even think I've never even heard most job, and maybe lawyer. I could see a
Okay.
lawyer thing, but actual GPA referring to what you got as a job, and I could be wrong.
What
but
was the stat you're referring to?
She said
she
that
said girls
guys
get A's and guys get C's.
get
and
the
that-
same pay. Guys that get A's or girls that get A's get paid the same as guys that get C's. And I could be wrong about this, I really could, but I don't think most jobs, once you get out of college, I'm not saying they don't even look at your GPA, but I don't think jobs look at it and flat out and go, well, you got A's, that means you get 100,000. You got C's, that means you get 80,000. Do they?
That just seems like such a.
Can you even
I mean,
prove that?
right. How can you even track something like that?
You can't.
Guys who get C's and versus
Get the
girls who
same-
got A's.
get-
What?
And that's a dude.
You just spit it out and you
Yeah.
hope it just goes.
And then you have a girl say, "Fuck, that's fucking bullshit." You
Yeah.
know? And then everybody goes, "Wow."
Well, keep in mind who the source is.
Yeah.
The same people that brought us the "Hey, white folks, racism isn't over, but I'm over racism" video. So
Yeah, I think having little girls that age say those words and act like that is as offensive as what they're saying is offensive.
of course, the feminist groups are like, oh, there's applauding this shit. Like, this is something good.
Like there's some deep thinker behind this.
Right,
You know?
right.
Some asshole who thinks he's a deep thinker, thinking he's making all this social change by making these idiot videos.
And the fact of the matter is, he's making money.
Yeah.
That's what this is about. This is about selling T-shirts. They can say it's all about fuck hate, fuck inequality, fuck girls, whatever.
How can we get attention? We'll have little kids swearing.
Yeah.
We'll have little kids. All right, so what can we? What group can we?
We'll have them
reel
spin a
into?
bunch of shit.
Yeah, feminists. They'd go for that. If we had little girls and
Mhm.
saying they don't want to be princesses, fuck princesses.
If this was really about stopping inequality for women, wouldn't you donate 100% of the proceeds to that. But no, they're donating $5 of all the shirts they sell, $15 shirts. So $10 goes in their pocket, and $5 goes to an unnamed, group who supports equal rights for women.
Crazy.
Wow. So the fuck hate people are making out pretty sweet in that deal. Pretty sweet deal for them.
These kids must be like dropouts of school or something. Can you imagine your daughter going to school and all the kids in the hall, like, hey, I saw you on that video, and they're like, applauding her and having to go to your classroom and all that, hearing all this shit.
I know.
They must be kicked out of school or something. There's no way. Yeah, homeschooled something.
They $15 for shirts, $5 goes towards anti-sexism organizations. Anti-sexism organizations.
And even that's kind of questionable. Like, it just,
of course it
is. Very, very vague. It's not even one specific thing. It's just anti-sex organizations.
Yeah. There are much bigger dangers these girls will face than a few four-letter words. Pay inequality, rape, violence. This is a pretty terrific and brilliant idea. Oh, God, give me a break. Give me a break. And then there's this asswipe, Mike Kahn, kind of lives up to his name, I'd say. Video producer from fuckhate.com, Mike Kahn, Conman Mike, reasoned how the real shock is that women are still paid less than men for the same work in 2014, not the use of the F word. The big stat that 1 out of 5 women are sexually assaulted or raped is something society seems to find less offensive than a little 4-letter word. Really? No, take an issue with your
stats. As if everybody's and like people are just accepting that. Like,
yeah.
Oh gosh, we're fine with that. We're fine with our women being raped. It's like, come on, people.
Right.
Be aware of this.
Right.
We need to be against this.
Who's walking around going, well, yeah, a lot of girls getting raped, but what are you gonna do?
Sounds good to me.
It happens.
Oh well.
I'm sorry. I was gonna say apparently the national attention. It's National Coffee Week, or it's National this or that awareness month, that kind of crap.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently that wasn't good enough for me. I had to go this route.
Yeah, apparently.
Those things are so stupid.
Instead of washing these girls' mouths out with soap, Khan bashed, maybe society needs to clean up its act.
Okay.
Yeah. Insulting. It's offensive to people like us sitting here going, really? Really?
Right.
It's offensive.
Some of my best friends are black. You got a cookie. Here's a hot.
Speaking of offensive, someone posted on our post on Facebook today. Just when you think Eric couldn't stoop any lower, based on his conversation yesterday, just that.
Oh, really? I know what it says. There's something after that because I actually saw that.
Typical evangelist.
What is? I know what I kind of do know what evangelist is, but what does that mean when
I think he's referring to those TV evangelists who are always proven to be sinners themselves out there philandering.
Oh, you were a God-fearing man, but hooking up with pregnant hookers.
Yeah, that one struck a nerve with people, I think.
The hooker one?
Yeah.
Dude, why? As if people out there are so high and mighty. Hookers get paid because people pay for them.
It's the oldest profession in the world, right?
Hell yeah.
Let me ask you this. I had a follow-up question.
I'm not for
I had a follow-up as well.
So you pay the $100 to get her there.
Right. I will say, by the way, some of the story, and I'm just going to say, I'm pretty sure it was 100.
It's vague because you were wasted.
Yeah, it was a little vague, but I'm pretty sure that was about.
All right, you pay the money to get her there. She walks in, you hand her the $100 right off the bat.
Right.
So you've got to do that, right?
Yeah.
So what were you thinking you would pay with after that? You didn't have any more money.
I don't know.
You knew you were going to have to hand over 100 as soon as you got there. Why didn't you run to the bank first?
Maybe in my mind.
Why didn't you have the whore stay in the hotel room?
Maybe in my mind at that time, I did not.
You were thinking maybe you were paying for something?
Get something out of that 100.
Okay.
Maybe in my mind I thought maybe a hand job would come with 100 and it would be more. No, but I'm just saying, like, that seems kind of reasonable.
It does. Now, was the handy any good?
I don't know.
I think we covered that, didn't we?
Did we?
I thought he said it was very
very clinical.
Clinical was the phrase.
That might have been.
Do you think that your behavior on the phone in any way played a part in who they decided to send your way?
Probably.
I mean, I just picture some guy going, "Oh, we got a live one on the line."
Oh, I'm
Send
sure.
over the third string.
I'm sure.
Send Prego Cindy and
jack up the price that you'd normally charge.
There's no doubt that could have been the case.
Think about the level of dude who's answering the phone for the massage therapist at 2:30 in the morning.
I know. Dude, you're right. I mean, a series of those questions all could run through your head.
Hey, Cindy, we got a live one on the line for you. Get your ass over there, sweet tits.
Bottom line, was it worth it?
No, of course. When you look back on it, that was. I mean, I think if.
How soon after you came did you want her out of your room?
Yeah, right away. Obviously.
You didn't want to hang out and get to know her a little better.
No.
See what trimester she's in.
Looking back, was that worth it? Yeah,
Name her
probably
kid.
not. $160 for a hand? No, probably not.
Yeah, I mean, seeing as you have your own hand and it could do the job as well.
It's still better than me.
A strange hand, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have any conversation with her? Like, is
I
this
don't
your
think
first
so.
kid or any small talk?
I don't remember, honestly. I wish I could. If one of those things, both the one I've only had 2 hooker experiences, so now they're all out in the.
Well, we got to get you some more for the stories.
Yeah, you're right.
For the show prep.
For the stories.
Show prep.
For the stories.
Mm-hmm.
But when I look back on both of them, I will say that both of them, I wish it's one of those things where I do wish I had film of it, just in a sense, just so I could look back. And
I do too. I wish you had film of it as well.
Crazy it was, but oh well. What are you gonna do?
I think I would enjoy watching E get a hand job from a pregnant hooker. I got to be honest. That's all I'm saying.
He's got to just get used to wearing the GoPro, just in case something happens. You know,
Yeah.
just every day, just wear it.
Something always
He'd
happens in
leave
my
it
life.
somewhere. It'd
Yeah.
be broken in no time.
You know, somebody proposed a Kickstarter reward where we just set up a camera in the corner of his basement. Maybe this was you, Timko. Just set up a camera, and
You and I both.
yeah, we were kind of talking about just
All you would see
day
is
in the
me.
life, you know.
Dude,
You'd see him jacking out. He'd forget the camera was there after
Just
an
see
hour.
my man,
He'd
you know,
be
and
off.
then the reward winner would just get the video, you know, just
Yeah.
the raw video to watch and see.
you wouldn't see much. You just because depending on where you aimed it, if you were aiming at me, all you'd see is me on the couch, either on my computer or watching TV, and then maybe jacking off.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I
I would forget.
If you set up a camera in the corner of my house, I would never forget it was there,
Yeah.
and it would never catch me beating off.
No.
Like
Yeah.
it wouldn't be like it's been there for a month and he kind of forgets about it.
He would
Like that
Totally,
day,
yeah.
he'd be like, "Well, it is what it is. I gotta beat off. So what are you gonna do?" He wouldn't even turn the camera around. He'd just be like, "Whatever."
No, I probably would.
No, you would. You beat off in the family car going on
Yeah, but
vacation.
I was a young guy. I didn't, just found out about beating off. So
Oh, E. Bristol Palin. We'll get into this, and then do we have any email?
Yep, we got a couple.
Okay. God, I wanted to do this story on the neuroscientist facing trial for poisoning his wife, but Bristol Palin has defended herself and her family in writing, explaining, that video was released 2 days ago by the cops. That shows her sobbing uncontrollably, talking about.
I think she stated her case there, did she not?
Well, she did, but she's come out to explain it. She's explaining things a little more. Instead of listening to all the people who weren't there, let me tell you exactly what happened, she writes in a post on Pathos. Here are the 5 best parts, they say, from Palin's new post. She says the brawl started because someone wanted to get famous, which is believable.
Mhm.
Bristol wrote that it all started with when her group's friend got knocked out from a cheap shot from behind from a man who tweeted, "About to get famous." It was then, according to Palin, that her 20-year-old sister Willow said to the man's mother, "Get a hold of your son." But apparently the apple didn't fall far from the tree because the mom pushed Willow. "A grown woman pushed my little sister," she wrote. She claims she got involved to defend her sister, but things escalated quickly, as they do. She said she had already gotten into the car, which was previously reported to be a stretch white Hummer. She wrote, "When her sister ran to me crying, telling me some lady had pushed her down, I got out of the car to talk to her. Any big sister would do this. Next to God, family is the most important thing to me." Of course it is. After I got out of the car, I never even got to talk to his mom because a guy in his late 30s or early 40s got in my face. He was towering over me, probably at 6 foot something, over 200 pounds. He started yelling. She then wrote about what she previously described in the statement, saying a man she did not identify, but they say was the owner of the house, that Klingenmeyer,
Right.
looked right in her eyes and said, "Get the fuck out of here, you slut." and she says she didn't punch the guy several times with a strong right hook, which was the witnesses at the party said. She punched him 6 times. She denied that, saying she was alarmed that things had gotten so bad so fast, but it got even worse when this guy started pushing me, had his hands on me, pushing me down. That's when I swung and hit his face. Someone say I shouldn't have retaliated in defense against him, but certainly he should have not pushed a girl. It didn't faze him. He pushed me down to the ground and kept me there. It was scary and awful. He held me down until someone got me out of the situation. That's it. That's the story. I didn't swing at him 7 times with a strong right hook, as so many so-called news stories have reported. I still had a perfect manicure on all 10 of my nails, plus I'm left-handed. Which, yeah. She's claiming the liberal bias led to the reporting, which is probably true. She says she's asserting that media bias leads to the coverage of her family, but claimed that there is not the same kind of coverage of Democratic family scandals. In the meantime, did you even hear about Vice President Joe Biden's adult son who got kicked out of the Navy for cocaine? Yeah, it did.
That got breezed over pretty good, though.
It did. Yeah, it did. But it's Joe Biden's kid.
Yeah.
You know, Sarah Palin was kind of hot. Kids are that right age.
But he's the vice president.
He's the real vice president. You're right. So pause for a moment and consider the hysteria over our stupid incident compared to our actual vice president's son not even being able to hold on to a position in the Navy Reserve. Well taken.
Crystal.
Yeah. I'm sure you heard the happy news that Chelsea Clinton had a baby, but did you know her father-in-law and Clinton family pal, Edward Mavinsky, is a convicted felon because of committing bank and wire and mail fraud? Of course you didn't, because the friends and family of the revered liberal elite are treated like delicate china. Don't handle too roughly. In the meantime, I was pushed and held down by some guy, and the media salivates like a dog that has just been given a bone. Said the tough coverage stems from her being a conservative woman. Imagine for a second the outrage that would happen if Chelsea Clinton had got pushed by some guy. Had she tried to defend herself, the liberal media would have held her up as some feminist hero, but it wasn't Chelsea, it wasn't Hillary, it wasn't someone they liked or someone they agreed with. It was a conservative. And once again, the hypocrisy of the media is laid bare.
Hey,
I agree with her on a lot of that.
If the story is as she says, for sure.
And there's probably the truth is it's probably somewhere in the middle of that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, she sounds like an idiot in that video.
Oh yeah, fucking
$300 glasses.
I kind of like the right hand, left hand evidence, though.
Yeah.
You know, that's compelling, and that was compelling on Happy Days too. Do you remember that episode where someone was accused of purse snatching? And Fonzie pointed out that style motorcycle, you had to rev it left-handed, and so that guy wouldn't have been able to grab the purse with his left hand and make his way away as described by the witness.
Really?
So
that seems pretty deep for a Fonzie thing.
You know?
I don't remember that episode. I remember the Jump the Shark episode.
Oh God.
I remember a lot of those episodes. I don't remember that.
I think it was Pinky Tuscadero on that one.
Really? The Pinky Tuscadero episodes, yes. I do remember those.
Was that just his girlfriend, or what was it?
I think, yeah, kind of. She was kind of a badass motorcycle rider, and I think he fell for her for a little bit.
Yeah, was she maybe one that, like, kind of rebuffed?
Yeah, maybe.
Fonzie, she was the only chick ever, right?
Yeah.
Fonz.
Yeah, the Fonz had his own office in the bathroom, the men's room.
Yeah.
2 dated TV.
Yeah, that was weird, dude.
Jay.
Think about that. Think about that. He had his office was the men's room.
Yeah.
Jeez, Fonz, if you're that cool, what do you?
Little gay. Just enjoy walking nude men coming in.
I know,
time and time again, taking a whiz, and there's the Fonz fixing his hair again. Gotta be honest with you. Didn't sound good. That bathroom must have stunk.
He's such a little guy in real life too.
Yeah, he is
Winkler. That little Winkler guy. Look at that little Winkler.
He's doing AARP shit now or something.
Well, the Fonz's leather jacket is at the Smithsonian in Washington.
Yeah.
And you look at it, you're like, a little kid wear that or what? It's just a little wee thing.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
There? Yeah.
It's like a Kermit the Frog, and
he was a wee little dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is a wee little dude. Do we have some email?
We do indeed.
We do indeed. What do you got?
Keep sending it, and keep sending pictures of you with TDC gear.
There's the jacket.
There he is.
Yeah. Does he look like the guy you'd think of that would get all the chicks? He looks kind of goofy there.
Totally. Hey, Mrs. C.
Mr. C, Mr. Cunningham.
You know, this is interesting. Howard writes in, and we know Howard. He's the greeter at Walmart.
Okay.
Look, listen. TDC leads the way again. Some unnamed radio station out of Toledo just had an on-air segment where they put a breast pump on a male staff member.
Oh, boy.
Oh, those bastards.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
That's an E-bit. That's an E-bit.
That's very disappointing.
I wonder if he blistered up as bad as you.
I guarantee whoever that is that did that did not have it on his titty as long as
Oh,
he
that
did.
was
No, I had it on as long as I could take it, man.
Did we
we
put
milked
on
the
both?
son of a bitch.
We milked him, yeah.
Yeah,
You can milk anything with nipples.
We had him on both. But remember the one?
Oh,
That's just funny, though, dude. It's some little station
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah.
That means it was good
They're
enough.
listening. They're listening.
they're listening.
Howard
That's
says,
right.
I guess on Valentine's Day they will have breaking news about the kidnapped girls in GLJ 69's country, and by the 4th of July we should hear from them about Ebola. Point is, while you guys often worry about developing stories being missed due to your time of production, the real world issues, breast pumps on men, toiks, etc., are being covered by TDC before anyone.
That's right. That's good to
Heard it
know.
here first.
Glad, yeah, heard it here first. By the way, there is an update on, now that you mentioned GLJ.
Mhm.
He's got that shit.
Did he get the girls?
No, but I've got an update on that. The girls are as well as can be expected. They're having problems getting the Boko Haram leaders into a face-to-face because they don't trust anyone. So the girls are on hold.
This is all worked out. I
No,
thought it,
it's being worked out. GLJ's got this
Yeah.
shit. He's got this shit. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Don't worry about
It's
it.
a tightrope
But
to
it's-
walk, Jay, and he's walking it.
Yeah, I mean he's going through treacherous shit here. He just knocked out Ebola. I mean, what else you want him to do? He had the World Cup. Even his GLJ 69 jersey.
Dude.
Look at that man. Good luck, my man.
I love
Look
it.
at him. Jonathan.
Look at that dude in his hat.
No, he's very bad man.
I know, on the golf course.
One of our listeners.
Yeah.
Hey, you're from Nigeria? Hey, good luck. I'm a big fan of Good Luck, Jonathan.
No.
No. Very bad man.
He has harmed a lot of people. Josh writes in, Eric, you ass. Here we are sitting at work last week talking about how you just don't seem interested in doing East Side clubs and how much we would love to support a Big E comedy tour. Then to hear you
Comedy tour.
intentionally exclude us from getting the notice because it's probably too late or whatever.
No,
Remember
whoa,
that?
whoa,
Remember when you
what?
spoke up and you were like, no, I'm not going to really tout this one because it's probably too late.
What's too late?
Giving notice of your fucking stand-up,
Which one?
ass.
I think that the one you
Oh,
didn't
he's
want to
talking-
promote, because it probably
I think it was
wasn't
in
a good
Lansing.
gig.
It was in Lansing, and you were like, oh, I'm not, whatever.
I think it was one of those where you think
His point, E, don't poo-poo this. His point is he wants to know
Where
about
does
it so he
live?
can go see
in Ann
you.
Arbor. I'm talking about
He's
Lansing.
asking about the East Side, dude. He says, and don't frickin' leave it to you to decide. Let them decide. Let the listeners
fine,
decide.
Fine.
good
fine.
point, valid point.
How dare you, he
Where
said.
are you performing next?
I don't know yet.
Oh,
No, it's just one of those things where I really don't know. This is a thing where next week is I'm trying to find an open mic to do right now, and I just haven't found one yet. So
Eric, just spit it out already.
I actually did call to try to sign up for Ann Arbor, but they had went through some construction and they built a new.
so they stopped the comedy in the.
They
in the
did.
area?
They did for about a month.
Nothing
it
is
was
funny
actually
there
shut-
anymore. They banned it.
All clubs are on lockdown.
There's only a few that. Never mind. Okay,
Enough of this guy already.
go on.
Josh continues, never mind that I have 5 life burdens and wake up at 4 a.m. for work and probably wouldn't be able to make it anyway, but give me the choice. Instead of making me the asshole for not showing up, you are the asshole for not figuring
Fine.
that out.
All
got a
right,
good
you know
point.
what? Okay, fine. I'll let everyone know about every one of these, and when they show up to one that fucking ends at 1 in the morning and there's 15 comics and no
Their
one's
call.
there, then
Their
that's their
call.
own
Their
fault
call.
for being
It's
there.
their call,
Okay.
not Big E's call. Dude, you would have fucking killed 5 years ago for anybody to give a shit that you were going to be performing
That's a good
somewhere.
point. That's a good point.
So don't poo-poo them.
I'm not poo-pooing.
God damn it!
I'm not poo-pooing.
Hope you can keep your Richard out of your sister long enough to press print on this email and have a reminder that it's nice to let someone else be the asshole once in a while. I better hear of an East Side stand-up soon. Royal Oak is close enough to call East Side too, by the way.
Oh, that east side. Gotcha.
Got it?
Go.
Look, guys. Listen.
Listen.
Steve writes in. After listening to the show earlier this week, I'm worried about the future of the Detroitcast.
Uh-oh.
Replaying the lawyer's confession to Pops,
Yep.
it's clear to me Walters threw Jay under the bus purposely,
I
knowing
disagree.
that Pops will think about his grandkid's future, grow irate, and take out the lawyer. We know Eric is just waiting to plot the death of Mikey, then make his move onto Beth and slide into the big chair. Only someone who banged their sister and cousin at the same time, allegedly, is capable of said acts. After Eric confesses quickly to the police, he's thrown in prison, finally able to have Congress. That leaves a bored Timko alone in the basement with all the equipment and Kickstarter money, which proves to be too much. He leaves virtual Timko in charge, no longer getting me my freeze worth. Can you see my concerns?
K-Dog's still here.
Yeah, K-Dog will
He's
take
got
over.
that shit.
He's got that shit.
What the fuck not?
Kevin writes in.
All right.
I'm not sure if I should read this.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
Who's going to feel bad if this is read?
We're all
You?
going to feel bad.
Uh-oh.
Like
Oh, no.
the listeners too.
Really?
Hey guys, dying to hear some White Lion by Walters.
No.
It's gotten so bad I have the real band's version bookmarked and listen once a day, but need the Walters version. How about a couple times a month?
No, please, no.
Goodbye.
No.
Kevin and LO.
Well,
You know.
Hey,
Got fans out there.
Speaking of Lake Orion, I think there's some Superman Batman filming going up there today.
Really?
Yeah.
were you on site or
I wasn't
Yeah,
on site.
Mr. Affleck, what was going on?
what scene did you do today?
They have a dog run over there in one of the parks, and somebody who was walking around that area said that they had like a mausoleum scene set up in the park. So,
Please no.
oh boy, here it comes.
What happened?
Oh yeah, it's the way to close out a week.
That's right. I don't know this one.
Never heard it. Oh, it's called When the Children Cry.
Oh. New song?
I think so.
Anyway, so what's going on? The filming's going on in Lake Orion?
Yeah, I think they had a piece up in Lake Orion today. They were doing some in East Lansing
You
earlier.
say you think, you mean
I
you
heard.
shot a scene?
Little child,
Oh my god.
dry your crying eyes. How can I explain
Why would you read that?
you feel inside? 'Cause you were born into this evil world where man is killing man and no one knows just why. Come on, E.
No.
What have we become? Just look what we have done. All that we've destroyed, you must build again. When the children cry, let them know we tried. Thanks, everybody. When the children sing, that'll do it for a Friday edition of the Detroit Cast. Begins. Little child. We'll see you on Monday with an all-new edition of the Detroit Cast. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us.
Have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend. Have a great weekend, Jay. Hey, don't forget, too, the Lions playing at 9 a.m. live in London on Sunday. You were born for the world to see that we all can live with love and peace. See you, buddy. No more presidents, and all the wars will end. Good night, E. One united world under God. When the children cry, let them know we tried. 'Cause when the children sing, then the new world begins. Guitar solo? I'm done. You guys, what are you still doing here? I thought you left an hour ago.
It's Friday. Have a good weekend.
I'm having fun. I might do more. It's karaoke Friday night. See you, Jay. What have we become? Just look what we have done. All that we destroyed, you must build again. No more presidents, and all the wars will end. One united world under God. I cleared the whole room out, literally the whole room out. When the children cry, let them know we tried. 'Cause when the children fight, let them know it ain't right. 'Cause when the children pray, let them know we're okay. 'Cause when the children sing, then the new world begins. Thank you. I cleared a room out. All right. We'll see you on Monday, everybody. Have a good weekend.
You've been listening to the Detroit Cast with your hosts, Mike and Jay. From all of us at Radio for One Studios, thank you for listening. And as always, thank you, Detroit. Listen to God, watch you grow, you know now.